Lifeboat Live, we have 4 simple rules. Number 1, we don't discuss politics, ever. Number 2, this is not a religious channel, and while you might hear people say, God bless you, or I'm going to pray for you, or I wouldn't have gotten through this without my faith, that's fine. What's not fine is to say, my God is better than your God, or here's why you're not getting into heaven. It's not going to fly. Number 3, we believe wholeheartedly if you can't control your tongue, then you can't control your life. So while on board, there's not going to be any cursing in the live chat, period. And number 4, there is no room for mean people on the lifeboat. Because we discuss very sensitive things from people's past in our group setting, we got to protect those people. The only way they feel confident and comfortable discussing those things is in an environment that is free of trolls and mean people. So if you're a mean person or you're a troll, we're going to block you for life. And if your account happens to be less than 24 hours old, we're probably a little suspicious right from the word go. Why? Well, because there are people in this world who enjoy being cruel solely for the sake of being cruel. It's not going to fly here. But if you're here because you're trying to get sober and live your best life, then you might find that the lifeboat is just that, a lifeboat. I'm Captain Tommy Scoville, and we will see you on deck.
All right, let's try that one more time. I am Captain Tommy Scoville, and you are on the lifeboat. We're running a little late, but still the lifeboat. Today has been one of those days that has required me to dip into my bag of tricks virtually constantly. It really has been a challenge and a struggle. There you go. Good girl. So the Department of Motor Vehicles, people, is got to be what hell's going to be like if you're not right and you end up spending an eternity there. I imagine it's going to be a great deal like the Department of Motor Vehicles. You arrive at the Department of Motor Vehicles and they issue you a number, and that number makes absolutely no sense. Thank you. I'm not sure who that is. I can't see who donated that. That's unfortunate. Let me see if I can figure this out. Aha. I am the noise opera. Thank you, my brother. So you're issued a number. The number reads 1000 A1107. You sit down and the first thing you hear called is B1613. And you go, how does this happen? It took not quite a couple of hours, but very close to a couple of hours. And it was a challenge. I was in the process of changing a title from one vehicle, the name of the previous owner, into my name. And people, I struggle with feeling less than intelligent. It's something that I have issues with at certain times. And there are times I feel very intelligent when I'm discussing the fight that I feel like I'm now in the middle of. I feel like I'm where I need to be. I feel pretty I feel like I know what I'm talking about, and I feel like I'm very comfortable with what I'm talking about. When I'm here and I'm talking to the crew of the lifeboat, I feel intelligent. I really do. I've always felt comfortable on stage, whether that stage is a microphone or it's me actually standing on stage and talking to people. I am very comfortable in that situation. It is, however, very often the situation that when I'm forced to do things in the real world, I have the potential to feel like I'm not firing on all cylinders. And I know that Scooby, good to see you. Glad that you're here. I know that there are things that I struggle with, and today was difficult. The person that was, they sit on the other side of the glass or 4 feet away from you, and they say things and they highlight stuff and they say sign here, sign there, and this one needs to say your name and then the name of the deceased because I bought a car from my dad, and I'm telling you, I can't begin to tell you just what it starts to do to me. And I got a beautiful email from someone on the boat that probably doesn't want me to say that it's them, but it was very articulate, and it talked about how frustrations are something that are going to come at me, and chances are the closer I'm getting to the finish line, the more that these confrontations are going to happen, and it's going to do everything within its power to get me off my game. It was really a beautiful email, and I think there's truth to it, and I think it happens to all of us at some level. If you just saw something float by, I assure you it was not an orb. It just means I need to clean better. So I need to work on remaining calm. It's one of my biggest issues. It really is, and I struggled pretty mightily with it today. And it was one of those situations that nothing's working. By the way, nothing is working today. It was one of those situations that really made me feel like I wasn't firing on all cylinders. Alan Ballantyne, good to see you, my brother. I need to change up my bag of tricks. Today was evident that there are things that I need to add into that bag of tricks. I walked out of the situation, I think 3 times, and I would come up with an excuse. I'm going to go out to the car and look for this, or I'm going to go do that. But it was me needing to get away from the situation that I was in. I fell back on things that I talk about all the time on the lifeboat in terms of trying to implement things that are going to calm you down, plain and simple. I also want to talk about struggles, people, because I'm struggling right now. I'm struggling mightily right now. I'm not in relapse in any way. I'm moving forward in everything that I'm doing. Tommy Bird, I agree. I feel very comfortable in everything I'm doing. I've never felt more comfortable in everything that I'm doing. Sadly, I know the boat doesn't. I made a lot of videos where all I talked about was what we can do to try to keep everybody sober. And then there was this paradigm shift that has left me realizing that there are not enough voices in this discussion that understand what's going on. Sadly, it's a very, very weak field of people who are saying intelligent things about the drug crisis in the world, but especially here in the United States. And I'm sure I sound arrogant when I say that I feel like my voice is more intelligent, but I'm coming from a place, as all of you are, that understands the intricacies of what it means to be trapped in that life. There are politicians all over the United States that have never done a bong hit, that have never snorted a line of cocaine, that don't know what crystal meth is. If you put 7 drugs on a table, all in different baggies, and said, "Can you identify these?" they would have gone, "I think the green one's weed." Those people probably should not be making policy because they quite simply don't understand. And that's something that has made it feel like this is what I am meant to be doing. However, if I do it, I'm going to end up hurting the people on the boat that I care the most about, because I know that the boat needs plenty of time to talk about things like, how do you stay sober? Because it is the most important thing for us here on the boat. I get that. And I try to balance it. I don't want to do too many videos where I'm railing against society, or I'm going on a rant, or I'm sounding angry. I don't want to do too many of those videos. And then you know what happens? I do one and we get 2 or 3 times the number of views. Now, I know that's not you. That's new people who are kind of glomming on to the idea. behind what it is I'm trying to do. And that's what we're looking for. But how do you balance that with the people that you care about more than anything? It's thank you. Brandon Taylor says, I love the Rumble vids. Actually, he said I love the Bumble vids, but I do know what he's talking about. The Rumble is fun because I could take the gloves off. And maybe I need to spend, more time over there doing that. The thing with Rumble is if you try to upload a 1 hour video to Rumble, it takes about 3.5 weeks. I mean, it's fine if I want to do 5-minute videos. I'm not a short form guy. I'm a creator that, and you guys created this. In the beginning, I was a short form guy. I got pretty good at getting my point across in 15 minutes. I can't do that anymore. It takes me an hour to get rolling and to really get into the subject matter. And I'm struggling with this. I really am struggling with this. I don't want to hurt the people on the boat that built the boat. I don't want my mission to cause relapses because I'm not here talking about the nuts and bolts, the day-to-day stuff that is essential for recovery. But I can't not do what needs to be done. It is important, people. It is so important. And depending on how you look at it, I guess, I can say YouTube on Rumble, Captain. I probably should, right? I guess I could say anything on Rumble. I call it the big red button. You're right. I got to get used to free speech. What an amazing thing to say in America. But I have to get used to free speech, M. Hunt. And M. Hunt warms my heart that you are here right now. It really does. People, this morning didn't get a lot of views. And so I'm going to talk about some things that we talked about this morning because I think they're important. One is that I got sober on a 3-step program. If you've never heard this, I could send you back to listen to other videos, but more than likely you're not gonna. And for those that have heard it a million times, I'm sorry, you're just gonna have to hear it again. And I apologize for that. I really do. Split it up, Captain. You do 2 shows a day. Do sobriety in the AM and the mission in the evening, and rotate every couple of days, maybe. I love that idea. If everyone else loves that idea, I think that might be, Tommy, that's an intelligent way to do it, man. I think that's probably a pretty good way to approach it. I think that's kind of legit, and maybe that's a method that that we can go after, a road that we can go down. But this morning we talked about the 3-step program, and I kind of had 1 step. Begin with today. Works. Crazy Brumfield, if it works for you. One of the things that I've said from day one is I'm never going to tell you that this is what works for everybody. This is what works for me. This is how I got sober after trying the 12 steps and trying hypoism and trying all of the different modern incarnations of what it means to get sober and how to get sober. After trying all of them, what worked for me was a 3-step program. And it was really simple. I got out a notebook, a journal, and I wrote down every single reason that I needed to get sober. Not, my health. Those things didn't come into play because I didn't care much about my health at that point or anything else. No, the list read like, my dad and earning his respect, and my children not having to grow up with a father that's a junkie. Those were the things that ended up on that first page. The second page, as my mentor instructed me, was if all of your friends got together. Congratulations, Full of Hope member, for 3 months. My advice, Tommy, let it be. There will be an answer. Let it be, seriously. Give this more time and prayer, patience, and don't leap into this overnight. So let it be for a while. It's fantastic advice. The question is, what do I do while I'm letting it be? Do I put away the videos that I think I need to be making, or I don't know. I'm obviously going to spend a lot of time in prayer about it, but that's solid advice. It really is. The second page was my mentor saying, if the 5 or 10 people who knew you better than anyone in the world really know you, Not necessarily like your wife, because you may have been lying to her forever, but the people who really know you, the people that you hang out with that know everything about you. If they put a piece of paper in front of those people and said, describe Tommy, and by the way, he's never going to see this, but I want to know who he really is, what would those people say? And I wrote that down, what people would say. They would call me a liar. They would call me a cheat. They would say that I'm unreliable. They would say that I would do anything for drugs. They would say that I even have a violent streak if it means getting dope. That sometimes the things that I did in terms of stealing looked courageous. They were desperate and stupid, but I'm sure that would have come up because there was not much I wasn't willing to try in terms of stealing. And then the last page was what I wanted to be. People, this bag of tricks, the things you wrote down on that piece of paper, number one, what is worth quitting for? They're never going to change. You can go back to that piece of paper until your fingers have worn the ink off of it. And nothing you wrote down will ever change. The world will. Technology will, new drugs will hit the market, all of these things. Just so everyone knows, for some reason, YouTube isn't letting me comment on the Lifeboat and a couple of other channels. I have no idea why, but I can at least thumbs up your comments. I'm glad you can comment here during the live. I will see if there's something that we did. I don't know that we could have, ZW. Maybe I made a mistake. Sometimes my fat fingers touch things they shouldn't. I promise you I will research that. I absolutely will research that. Can you tell I got home late and didn't get to clean out my beak? But going back to those reasons, obviously Cedar is on that list. Calhoun is on that list. The respect of my father was on that list. Not wanting to let him down in his final years. That was huge. That was, I think, the first thing I wrote down. But none of those things change. And on times when we're feeling weak, if you don't go back to that, you're not really giving yourself a chance at staying sober. That ought to be the first thing in your bag of tricks. It really should. Go back and read those things. Because there's so much more than the letters on the page. When I write down, I don't want my children to grow up with a drug-addicted father. Doesn't sound like much, does it? But stealing a video game system of theirs and trading it for dope. Right? Maybe I didn't fill that in, but that's what it meant to me to not be a bad father. Not forgetting birthdays or skipping Christmases or any of the things that can happen to somebody who's in the life. Greg F., good to see you, man. I hope your site's getting better. Pray for it every day. Every day. That's huge in this bag of tricks. Now, you don't have to adhere to the 3-step program that I did. You don't have to. I just hope that you find something that works. And we have 12 steppers here. We have people who believe so strongly in the 12 steps, yet they need the camaraderie that the Lifeboat affords them. It's good stuff. It really is. Being surrounded by people that understand what it means to hurt in a way that other people don't understand is the backbone of all group therapy and all sobriety. There are very few people that get sober without sober assistance. One of the things that happens when we first quit is we believe we're the only people in the world who are going through what we're going through. We don't realize that there is an army of people out there. You know why we don't realize that? Well, because the world treats drug addicts like lepers. And you'll watch it happen. You'll watch it happen on the boat. People will come here and they'll work through their problems and they'll start to really get better and they will disappear. I'm not mad at them. You shouldn't be either. There is a stigma attached to what we have. There's a stigma attached to our disease that makes it so that people want to disappear. And that's sad, but it's the truth. Puffinator, good to see you again. I was playing a little bass this morning while we were talking. YouTube doesn't say that you're live for me at all. People, with the exception of today, because I had a scheduling issue with the Department of Probation. I will be live on the 5s. Maybe set an alarm on your phone. 5 a.m. and 5 p.m. Pacific time. 5 a.m., 5 p.m. Pacific time. That doesn't change very often. Every once in a while, we'll shoehorn in another video. There's not much rhyme or reason to when I put up things on Rumble. It's when I'm the veins in my neck is sticking out. I really, at that point, I really want to get on there and make that happen. That's important. When Tommy says he will take a look at it, it means he will ask me to. I'll have a look and see if I can see anything. There's some truth to that. There really is. Miss Dragon, that is above and beyond the call. That really is. That is above and beyond the call. Miss Dragon just donated 5 memberships. You know what? I appreciate that more than I can explain. And it's not like you're not doing enough. She's a soldier in this. Absolutely a soldier in this. Uses her talents and her voice to make things happen. Sub bomb. What a great way to put that. I love that. That is a very, very cool way to put that. There's something else that I'm going to talk about from this morning, and it has to be said. It's just one of those things that has to be said. And very often if I say it has to be said, it means that it's no fun. I do not like kicking people off the lifeboat. For those of you that didn't hear that this morning, I take no joy in that. I really don't, unless you're a dirtbag. I mean, if you're not a crew member and you're just a dirtbag, I enjoy kicking you off. I enjoy watching the wrenches go to town on you. But if you're somebody that has been here trying to get sober, it pains me to see that person gone. I pray for them. I wrestle with it. After this morning's video, the individual in question reached out to me and said, I still love you. People, like I said, I'm never going to rehash things with the crew. There are reasons to believe that I'm not saying anything that is private, but he came into the live chat and said some things that would lead you to believe he doesn't love me. Now, people say some stuff in the heat of the moment. It's sad when they say it in public, but people say things in the heat of the moment. I am more than willing to accept everybody back onto the boat. But it requires there's a litmus test, so to speak. For lack of a better way to put it, there's a litmus test. After 100 days, I had a drink and felt so awful, and I regretted it. M. Hunt, we've all done this. We have all done this. Coming up for my 1 year being sober soon, thanks to this boat. You know what? Thanks to you, Lewis. You did that. It's great that you have a support team here with the boat. And I love it when people say the boat is the reason I'm sober. But let's really be honest. The reason you're sober, bro, is because of you. And I'm glad that the boat's been here to be a part of your bag of tricks. But don't ever take away from that accomplishment by putting any of it on us. And I mean that for everybody. The boat is here to help. It really is. And Lewis, I am so proud of you. I can't explain it. But you did that. That's you. In fact, look what I found. This was actually coming out for another reason, but 1 year, boy, if this doesn't come out on the 1 year mark, it's probably pointless to have. This started as a joke, by the way, once, people. It really did, but it's come to mean something. A year is really an accomplishment. It is an accomplishment, and it is so on the way to being the best you that you can possibly be. That really is the gospel truth. That's such a nice thing to say, Miss V. V said, I was sober before I found the boat, but it has really helped me stay that way. I love that. Lewis rocks. There's no question. Lewis, you realize that you lift everybody up? Every single person here. We celebrate the victories of the people on the boat together. And all of us get that. Yeah, oxytocin and dopamine and all of the chemicals that we all get to live that. And that is such a gift to everybody on the boat. It really is. I did used to say the boat most hateful and hurtful things I could possibly find in my wide vocabulary while I was in the life, especially when I felt called out anyway. I believe that. We tend to say things that we don't mean. And by the way, I reached out to this person and said, there's very little on this planet I can't forgive somebody for. There really is. There's very little on this planet that I can't forgive people for. But when you start to rebuild, you rebuild from a place of honesty going forward. And if that's possible, then the sky's the limit. And you'll look at people in the live chat right now who at one time were banned. They were banned here. They were banned on every platform I had. I even blocked their numbers. And now they have a wrench. The possibilities are endless. They really are. I'm going to pull this out again this evening because, and this one is near and dear to my ticker. And I know he's got a lot going on, so he's probably going to see this on replay. But my son Calhoun is 30 days sober today. And that is, I'm not sure I can explain the intense that is. Honestly, maybe I don't have the words for it, but it really feels amazing to know that my son is fighting the good fight. It really, really does. 4 months here for me being here sure helps. 4 months. Let me back up. I don't know that you can call yourself a newbie anymore. John, congratulations. 4 months here for me. Being here sure helps from alcohol. I love that. I really do. I love that. It is something that I'm taking nothing away from the boat. The boat does wonders for helping people stay on their path. I don't ever want to hear that we did it because you did it. We absolutely helped. You're damn right we did. The lifeboat is a machine. It really is. It is a machine to help people stay sober and to help them live their best life. But you do that yourself. You earn that yourself. That the pat on your back belongs to you. And I don't want anyone to ever lose sight of that because it is possible to. It really is. And don't think for a second as the host of the lifeboat that I don't think to myself things like, ooh, we are doing such great things. It's something I got to guard myself against. It really is. And I'm not saying that we're not doing great things, but we're a group of people doing great things. The lifeboat is a group of individuals who are making magic happen. It's not my boat. It's not my magic. I promise you, it's not. If it was, I'd be bottling it and selling it. For real. Because what we have here is special. And every YouTube channel says that. We have family. We don't have subscribers. You know what? Show me another one that's like this. The bus to some extent. Really, Johnny's built a real family over there. But no disrespect. But if you build your family around the love of automobiles or the love of watches, I've got some people in other countries that I've learned to really care deeply about through the watch game. There is a different bond when you have walked through the fire. There really is. There is a completely different mindset when you walk through the fire. I did time in a federal prison with an individual who was a Native American. And They're very, very proud of their heritage, and very often it's tattooed on them. It'll say, this tribe, or it will say that tribe, or it will say, something along those lines. And his said, burnt leg Lakota. And I'd been in prison a while, and I thought I knew basically most of the native tribes, especially because the part of just Christine, good to see you. It's been a while. But the burnt leg Lakota, I said, this is not something that I was familiar with in any way. Sorry, people, I'm trying to catch up the chat. Lady Crispin, thank you very much. Really is a beautiful thing to do. It is an absolutely beautiful thing to do. Boy, I cannot get to the bottom of this. I have been talking far too much. There we go. So I asked him, I said, you're not just a member of the Lakota tribe. He said, no, the burnt Lakota tribe is different. It's like a sect almost of the tribe. And I said, where does the name come from? The burnt Lakota tribe. And when the United States of America was being, our kind self in the early days, the Lakota was surrounded, and the army burnt the grass, basically to hem them in. And the idea being that the flames would eventually get to them. And, we're talking about grass that was, we're not talking about the kind of grass you mow. And the leader of the chief of the tribe said, there's only one way out of this, and it's through it. We're going to run directly into the fire. And as the story is told by this Native American, he said the chief knew he wasn't going to get out. At his age, there was no way he was going to make it. But he knew that the survival of the tribe required that was a sacrifice that was going to be made. And he looked at all of the people in there who were elderly and said, we're not going to get to the other side. So we don't want to be in front. We don't want to make it difficult for those who have a chance of getting out. They ran in the back, and the vast majority of them, of the elderly and the infirmed, didn't make it. The really young were carried the way we should be carrying everybody young in this world. Figuratively, literally, right? It's our job, isn't it? It should be. But when it was all said and done, a very good size contingent of the Lakota escaped that that flame, and in the process took unbelievable scarring from the waist down. Obviously, really bad scarring from the flames, but they took it as a badge of honor. That they stood up to the plate and said, "We're going to do this. We're going to die fighting. We're not going to wait." And that tribe refers to themselves as the burnt leg Lakota, and I absolutely love that. I really do. It's something that has stuck with me from that day. It really has. Brandon Taylor just gifted 5 lifeboat memberships. People, that's going to put us way, way above 100. And that is amazing. And humbling. It really is. It's humbling. Thank you, Brandon. Thank you so much. And to Fiona and to everybody that has done that today. It really is a beautiful thing. Hello, everyone. Sorry, nurse came in to ask me a question. Well, I hope you gave her a decent answer. Leisure. And I hope you're feeling well, my brother. Truthfully, hope you're feeling well. Thank you, Alan Ballantyne, for all that you do. I mean that. I thank you for all that you do. We put a lot of responsibility on a lot of people on the lifeboat, and most often we reach out to them and say, we're thinking of giving you a wrench, and there's a little bit of responsibility that comes along with that. Blah blah blah. Alan is a brother now, in the literal sense of the word. Couldn't be more brother if he came from the same mom. which means he's burnt. Which means if we need Alan for something, we're gonna sign him up and then ask him about it afterwards. And he's been a very good sport through all of that, and it's appreciated. It really is. I mean that. Stacy Michaels, that's a beautiful thing, and know, just know, Leisure, that everybody here loves you. I mean, true story. Thanks, Alan, and I'm glad you put up with me. I really am. I'm glad that you put up with me. Have to say, even though I have been off pain meds for almost 2 decades, it's days like today where I worked hard and I'm sore and tired that made me miss taking a pill after work to relax and let it fade. I understand that. I absolutely understand that. Why, thank you, Linda. That makes perfect sense to me. Sorry, people. Tommy Bird, I am so sorry. I'm so sorry. He's struggling. Yesterday was the anniversary of his mom's death. Pretty lonely, empty feeling that I can't shake, regardless of environment or company. Today, while I was, and I'm not telling you this to take away. I'm telling you this because it is germane to what we're talking about. But today, I had to transfer a title of my father into my name. I bought the car, and it can't be in his name anymore. And I carry his driver's license in my wallet. And the woman said, by any chance, do you happen to know his driver's license? And I said, I have it. I have the license. And my dad not being here kicked my butt today. It's I felt it more viscerally today than I have since the day that he left. And it's funny because if somebody who really loves me, who sits next to me and says, "Are you all right?" I can't articulate it. And maybe there's something about the camera. Maybe there's something about the camera and the microphone that just make it an easier thing for me. Because I know I'm not going to have the instant response. I'm not going to have the person who's hurting because of that staring back at me. But I miss my dad. And I can imagine that you're missing your mom. I really know a lot about you, Tommy, and that's because you've been just really honest with me. We've had some great emails, some great back and forth, and you're going to see your mom again. I know that doesn't make it easy, but boy, oh boy, can you imagine how much harder it would be if you didn't know that? Sorry, people. Sponsored by, boy, if there's anyone that should sponsor the lifeboat. I'm sorry. I know that that's foul, and it's always such a risk when you have a mustache. You know what I mean? If you just blow your schnoz, there's not much you have to worry about. But if you happen to have a mustache, you never know if you're going to come up and just have it look really, really awful. Thoughts and prayers for Crazy Brumfeld's for Crazy Brumfeld's boy. It's he's going to be seeing a surgeon on April the 6th. I know that if I'm not mistaken, he had a lung collapse. At any given point, there are 1,000 stories on the boat of people that need prayers and need thoughts. It really is it's the nature of family, and we're probably more honest with each other than a lot of other families, really. It's been 5 years this month since I lost. Always happens. 5 years this month since I lost my mom, and I still miss her so much. ZW, I believe that. I believe that. It's I've said this before. You don't get over it. You're never going to get over it. That's it's not in the realm of possibility. What happens is you learn to to live with it. You learn to continue to move on, but you never get over it. It's not something that, especially if you had a really close relationship. I was I was telling stories today about my dad and stories that my mom would say, I didn't know that, or I never heard that, and we just had my dad and I were close, and we were close in a way that I think most fathers and sons aren't. Yeah, I'm sorry, crew, but this was one of the reasons that today sucked. I apologize. It was there are days, there are days I just wish he was here. Greedy on my part, because I know that the place he is so much better than here. But yeah, I still miss and think of my dad, who was just 3 years older than I am now. Oh, but I enjoy the fond, happy memories, and I've let the bad fade away. You know what? I shouldn't even say this, because I know that so many people go through. I lost my dad a little over 5 years ago. I wish you could have seen me sober. I'm sorry. I'm having one of those days. Trust me, my brother. He has seen you sober. It would have been nice if you could have looked him in the eye and seen the response, but he knows you're sober. Please believe that. Please believe that. And I'm sorry, people. Today, this was one of the things that I could complain really easily about the really small stuff today, like having to go and see the probation department. They can't wait 24 hours to find out the license plate is different on my car. Like somehow I'm going to go pull a bank job because I have a new license plate. And the frustrating little things in life that are pointless, and they will fade away as fast as they annoy you. They're gone. So one of the tricks in the bag is to not let the little stuff, become big stuff. But yeah, I miss my dad today. And dealing with the paperwork today was just kind of hammered at home, in a way that was difficult. That was really difficult. And I apologize. I really do. I do my best to not do this when I'm on live. It gives all the people who hate me a ton of fodder. If no other reason, it really gives all of the people that hate me a lot of fun to have. Miss Dragon, group hug for Tommy. I'll take it. I'll take it. Brandon Taylor, you know what? My dad was loved by a lot of people. He really was, and I thank my brother. Not often enough, but I thank my brother for the videos that he did with my dad. I watched them so much. I don't know. I don't know if I'm probably half of the money that that my brother makes on YouTube is just me watching videos of my dad. I was locked up, during some of those times when I really should have been there, and the times when I really should have been there, I was locked up, and you know what? It's it's one of those crappy things that I have to own. But when I say I'm a recovered drug addict, trust and friggin' believe I'm a recovered drug addict. I owe it. I owe it to the memory of my dad to never do that again. On a funny note, I'm finding out it's hard to keep your pants up while in line with a 300 rounds of ammo in your pockets. I just hope you're not going through like an airport metal detector, right? That's a lot of ammunition. Really, that's a lot of ammunition. I'm going to blow this thing one more time, peeps. I'm really sorry. I forced Lady Crispin to watch the Navage at work. It's really something to see. And you know what, CW? A good cry is never a bad thing. I promise you, it's not. don't don't put them in your pockets, even if you can't carry them. Don't try to put them in your towel. Yeah, they will. They do arrest people for that. Although it's really funny. I guess it depends on the part of the country you're in, right? Because there are other parts of the country where you can just go in, and as long as what you're taking is less than $1,000, it's no big deal. I did that at the airport. I warned the security that I was taking my belt off, and it would not be good. Well, it wasn't. Pants around my ankles. I told her. I warned her. Oh, that's funny. I would have liked to have seen that. That's funny. I've not really cried since being beat up. You know what? Working through things from your past is a beautiful thing. We society has made us, especially if you're a guy. Society has made us want to believe that there's weakness in tears. That I'm the weakest guy in the world, because boy, I spend a lot of time crying about, and not just about my life, about so many of you. There are a lot of stories that really, really touch me. I wish so often that I could just say, "Oh, let me tell you about so and so." I don't do that. I really do not do that. Even if I'm being attacked by somebody, I don't dip into things that somebody told me in the past, because it's not right. It's not right. A good piece of advice for everybody. If you have a text conversation with somebody, it's a text conversation with somebody. Don't share it. Don't share it. Emails, don't share them. Right? The contents of emails. Technology gives us 500 new ways to be idiots. It really does. It gives us 500 ways to be stupid. Maybe that's what we could avoid, huh? Hey, just got offered a speaking engagement. Yeah, I'm sure it's the flavor of the month. Some blah, blah, blah. I don't know. Those come in a lot. I think they're funny. I haven't lost my adoptive parents yet, but I know the pain of losing my in-laws. It took me 30 years, 19 hours apart. No, it's a pain like no other. I'm so sorry. I really am. Miss Dragon, that is so tough. It is there's sadly there's so much we're living in a world of death right now, more than we should have to deal with. Yeah, I cannot withhold any emotions these days. They just become pouring out sometimes. Unannounced and totally unchecked. Well, yeah, I have. It may be a public speaking thing. I'm usually good for about 30 seconds. Like I can hold back the floodgates long enough to get up and walk around or do whatever. I did pretty good today at the DMV. I really did. Each time they asked a question, and but it's been working on me since. It really has. It's just been working on me. And you know what? It's guilt, and I come here and I tell people, that was a drug. That wasn't you. I even honestly, my dad said that to me. I tried to apologize that the last day that my father was on this planet. I've told everybody this, but my dad reached out to me and said, "This is going to be the last time we talk. I'm not going to be here tomorrow." Like he just knew, and I said, there are so many sorries I have to say, and he said, "No, you don't." He said, there are things you might want to say you're sorry for." He said, "But when you were on that crap was running it. Like, I mean, I wish I could remember the exact words, but he said, I don't hold you responsible for the things that you did when you were under the influence of that stuff. That he absolutely held me responsible for becoming addicted. Because there is a level of responsibility that you got to take. But drugs are evil, crazy cat. Good Lord. There's one of the best things anyone's written up there in a long time. You know what? I'd like to stop crying, so I'm going to tell you something really funny. This morning, M. Hunt said, "There's no such thing as leftover crack." I texted that to about 15 people today. That to me is just one of the funniest things anyone has ever said about drugs of any kind. It really just killed me. There's no such thing as leftover crack. For those of you who have never been down that road, crack is a substance that once you start, you cannot stop. It goes until it's gone. I love all you people here on the crew. Seriously, I appreciate you all. And I sure do appreciate this boat. You know what, Tommy Bird, it wouldn't be the boat if you weren't on it. And I mean that. You're from the very first day you showed up. You've been such a huge, just really been a huge part of, and you know what, I can say that about so many people, but you've, all of you. The reason that this boat is what it is. It's got so little to do with me, and I mean it doesn't bum me out. I really, really hoped and prayed that the lifeboat was going to outgrow me. Mark and I talked about it at length. We even had we had even set out times, and I'm sorry, Franklin, that's tough. Alcohol and mental illness stole my father. I'm so sorry. I mean that. But Mark and I, we had a timetable, nothing etched in stone, just of when we were hoping that the boat would evolve, and it just took on a life of its own, and we're really obviously we're really happy that that happened. I heard leftover crack and my mind pictured a plumber. I hate to admit this, but I take pictures of that anytime I see it. I do. I'll act like I'm doing something on the phone, and I take pictures of it, and then I usually send those pictures either to Lady Crispin or to my brother. And if I send them to Lady Fi, I'll be like, "This is the country you want to come check out." That is leftover crack. That's funny. Not where I went with that when Emma Hunt said it, but that's pretty funny. I mentioned in the comments that Leftover Crack is the name of a punk band, and Emma Hunt responded that he played with them live once. Emma Hunt is a very, very talented musician. Not at all surprised to hear that there's probably a lot of bands that we've heard of that he brought his talents to. But that's a very funny name for a band. Leftover Crack. Yeah, Spanx Calhoun. Since you arrived late, I should probably make you write something on the chalkboard. But for starting your second month and for making me the proudest papa in the entire world, thank you. Keep doing what you're doing, kid. You're killing it. Keep doing what you're doing. And for those on the boat, you're going to get an opportunity to meet my son. I'm going to be doing an interview with my son. It's going to be similar to the interview that I did with my daughter. The difference is my son is a grown man, and so you'll be seeing his face. Alan, you're in good company, brother. Alan says, "Here I go again with the tears." That's okay. Yeah, congratulations, Spanx. I was really, really proud of you. And yeah, you know what? He got smart years before his father did, and that I mean, I guess that's it's every dad's dream, right? Is that your kid is going to get smart before you did. They're going to wise up before you did. Right? So honestly, it's a dream come true. But you're going to get a chance to hear Spank's story, Calhoun's story. I'm sorry, Spanx is really a nickname that is probably somebody outgrows as they start getting closer to 30 or 31. But yeah, Calhoun Scoble. You're going to hear his story, and you're going to get a chance to see him and hear him, and I'm sure you will be you'll love him as much as I do. Alan Ballantyne says, "Spanx, we are all so proud of you," and you know what? We really are. It's one of those things that, boy, when there's one victory, we all feel it. We really do. There's I won't bring up a yeah, I'm going to stop, people, because it's going to be one of those days if I just keep this going. Greg, you're in my thoughts and prayers, brother. You really are. I pray that your eyesight gets better. You know what? If I'm not mistaken, that's going to be pretty close to the 1 hour mark anyway. Perfect timing. That doesn't happen very often. Perfect timing. Thank you, Charlie Murphy, for always being there and always taking care of business. Yeah, John, I think you'll enjoy it. Spanx Calhoun's a good kid, and his story will provide some insight, to be sure. All right, everybody. I'm Captain Tommy Scoble, and boy, I'm so lost. I almost did it again. Let's try this. It's been a hell of a day, people. Believe it or not, this little fur ball, this cat in the basket, is very much in my bag of tricks. You're a good kitty. Good night, everybody. We love you. Sorry, tough day.